Well, hey everybody, John Rethlin here, and this is another ranking video. Every WWE and WCW United States Champion ranked from worst to best. Another ranking video, so probably end up being a 2 or 3-parter because there are 93 different champions to talk about. And you're going to be seeing these unpopular wrestling opinion, real honest rants, which was worst episodes, popping up occasionally throughout the summer as I get very, very busy with work. And this will be among the weekly WWE reviews, the pay-per-view reviews, G1 Climax, and Best of Super Junior tournaments by New Japan. So you're going to be seeing a lot of content. I won't be burning myself out, do not worry. I'm going to be taking time for myself. But I want to still keep the channel active because I want to hit 200,000 by the end of the year. With your guys' help and continued support, fellow wrestling fan to all the fellow wrestling fans, thank you guys so goddamn much. Now, the reason I'm including ones from WCW and WWE is I can make them 2 separate lists, but there's that weird tie with the invasion angle and everything since it was technically a WCW title. So I figured, why not just include it and just make it like that? Because 93, hell, I did 82 Intercontinental Championship, reigns, or, champions, talking about that in, a most recent list. So why the fuck not? And people seem to enjoy that one, and people seem to enjoy the ranking videos. So with this, 93, let's just get on with it. So I'll see where I am at a certain time and then just decide to stop it. But we go with the worst ones because that's how these worst to best ranking videos work. Yeah, Raven, one day at 93. I love Raven. I really think that Raven is great, but he won the championship at Spring Stampede 98 and then lost it to Goldberg next night. Nobody in the flock could stop Goldberg. Then again, the flock was full of some good talent and also Lodi, and just was not very. They were pretty much seen as a fucking joke. Yeah, he lost after one day. I love Raven. I think he should have been used a whole lot better in WWE. Didn't end up ultimately working here. One day, cool. He got the most out of Goldberg. I think the most that anybody has gotten out of Goldberg at that point. So credit to him, but one goddamn day. Number 92, Jinder Mahal, 8 days. He won it at WrestleMania 34. Jinder Mahal is a victory at WrestleMania. What the fuck is wrong with WWE? He's not responsible for the ratings decline. That's all on Vince. But still, if they had reversed it and had Jinder win the U.S. Championship in 2017 and then tried to build to the WWE title, even if both hadn't worked, whatever, at least they would have been doing it that way instead of backwards. He won it for 8 days and lost it to Jeff Hardy. So at least he wasn't champion that motherfucking long. 91, Michael Hayes, 15 days. He beat Lex Luger at Wrestle War 89. In a really horribly overbooked match that actually featured the famous Lex Luger DDT botch. Fucking Christ, Luger's so goddamn bad. Though I'm going to have to praise Luger way later in this video, and I'm really not looking forward to that. But hey, got to put some biases aside when it comes to championships. Because I can't ignore facts. I can rank some people low, but with this, Michael Hayes won the championship and then lost it 15 days later. And it was so weird because Michael Hayes, who was never really all that good in the ring, won a championship in 1989, a singles championship for a major wrestling promotion. He's a great promo. He was a good tag worker because Gordy and Buddy Roberts especially, Buddy Roberts actually really good, but Gordy is somebody that really deserves a ton of credit for how the Freebirds were as far as match quality. But Hayes as a champion up just wasn't a fucking good idea. I get why they did. They wanted to pull off a shocking victory, but it's like Luger won it so soon after that and then held it for so goddamn long. He held it for a number, 500 something days after that. Well, what the fuck's the point of the title change? Why not just keep it on Luger and have him not that I'm a fan of Luger, but for fuck's sake, do a title change for the sake of a title change? No company does that this year. Oh, wait, yeah, they do. So, then we get to number 90, David Flair. He held it for 35 motherfucking days. David Flair did not want to be in wrestling. He tried. He did his best. He wasn't cut out for it. He got out of it after a few years. So, credit to him. I just don't know why the fuck they made him U.S. champion. It was fucking stupid. Now, he did the best he could in any role he was given, which was just at one point starting to play a psycho guy. Yeah, it was bad. 35 days. 35 fucking days as U.S. champion. Just why? Just fucking why? Anyway, number 89. Hugh Morris as General Rection. Yeah, the Misfits in action. At least I believe that was the name of the faction. I know, some of that shit and a lot of factions in WCW, later WCW, really hurt my head. 64 days over 2 reigns. Yeah. Why? Just why? Just why did you give this hack a championship? Sorry, Hugh Morris built him out, whatever the fuck you want to call him. He could hit a cool moonsault. That was about it. We get to we're on the road, folks. Don't worry, we're getting through this stuff here. We get to number 88, Kurt Angle, 21 days. During the Invasion Angle. Yeah, the Invasion Angle. You see what they did there. I had no issue with titles changing hands and them trying to light a spark with the Invasion Angle. But Kurt Angle being U.S. champion, it was so weird. And it was weird that he was champion for that long because I had no memory of him being U.S. champion. I had to go back and look at it. And I was like, oh yeah, he was. And it wasn't memorable because it was like 3 weeks. Then we get to number 87, Edge, 6 days. I think if I remember right, this was in a unification match with Test. I think it was Test. Because it was like for the U.S. and Intercontinental Championships. And then Edge won the bottom line is he won the U.S. title and then won the Intercontinental title. Then they were fused, Fusion Ha, and then, the one DBZ reference, I know. And then Edge lost, or Edge didn't lose, but the U.S. title got retired, and then it wasn't brought back till like July of 2003. Yeah, not really all that memorable. I mean, he beat Test, okay, whatever. Number 86, Roman Reigns, 107 days. It just wasn't very good. This is nothing against Reigns as a person or anything like that, but just, anytime they gave him a secondary championship, it just didn't work because it just seemed like they were just throwing a title on him like, oh, hey, he's a champion. It wasn't that he wasn't a good worker. I mean, I'm not necessarily Reigns' biggest fan, but I have no really good memories. I have no terrible memories of him as U.S. champion, though I do remember whenever he carried the U.S. and Intercontinental titles, he carried them like, disrespectfully, or maybe he was just told to carry them like that. Yeah, 107 days, and it just nothing popped about it. 85, Santino Marella, 167 days. Yeah, Santino Marella, that hack, that idiot, that stupid motherfucker that, got Jim Cornette fired from OVW, which, to be fair, Cornette wanted to leave anyway, so it's probably just as well, but Santino taking credit for that and having a job with them and putting a stupid little, cocksock monkey on, his frickin' arm and everything. Cobra, great, it was over with kids. Kids are also, over when it comes to eating lead paint chips, if you really want to go with that. So that's not really a good, that's not really a good meter to measure things by. Yeah, I didn't like Santino, can you tell? I mean, is he the worst person to ever be in wrestling? No. But for somebody that really was with that company that long, I didn't find him very entertaining. I mean, a few times I found him entertaining. It was mostly him teaming with Kozlov. And that's just because Kozlov was pretty much just completely buried and everything. Kozlov is somebody they should have used a whole lot better, but whatever, I digress. Santino was just bad. He just was fucking... I'm sorry, his title reign was just shit. If I'm right, I think he beat Jack Swagger. I mean, that right there should have told you exactly what they were doing with, Swagger. Let's have him beat it. Let's have Swagger lose. And even if he didn't beat Swagger, like, I don't know why putting the title on Santino when the Intercontinental title reigns didn't work. Why are you going to put the U.S. title on him? What the fuck good is that going to do? Wait, it's not going to do anything because Santino is goddamn rotten. So then we get to 84. Steve Mongo McMichael, 25 days. Why the fuck was Steve Mongo McMichael ever included in wrestling? I mean, just seriously. Like, honestly, he was a terrible commentator, no charisma, no ability in the ring, despite the fact he was a former NFL player. He should have had at least some athleticism, and it didn't seem like he had anything. He didn't seem like he knew what the fuck he was doing. I mean, maybe he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. Maybe he didn't care what the fuck he was doing. I don't fucking know. He was fucking bad. In 25 days as U.S. champion, he held that prestigious title and dragged it through the mud. Whether he actually respected wrestling or not, he may have. I don't fucking know. He just wasn't any good. Then we get to number 83, Tajiri, 13 days. Yeah, Tajiri only held it for just under a couple of weeks. I mean, I love Tajiri. Got to meet him at an independent wrestling show. Guy's great. Guy can still move great. Him and Super Crazy can still move great. At this time, U.S. champion, not so great. Even though Tajiri could bring legitimacy, easy for me to say, to any championship he carried. But yeah, it just wasn't very good. We then get to number 82, Shane Douglas, who held it for 22 days in later WCW. Shane Douglas, who probably shouldn't have even been wrestling by 2000. I mean, it just wasn't good. It's not that Shane was bad, but by that point he had had a lot of issues and everything. And apparently, I guess he's had them worked on, which is good. It's great. I hope that Shane is okay. I don't hate him as a person. I just don't think he was really U.S. Championship material at this point. And he held it for 3 weeks. Well, why the fuck's that title reign going to matter? Then get to number 81, Bobo Brazil, 22 days. Yeah, it was just like a placeholder thing, like during the time when Bobo was still over. And he did not hold it for very long. Bobo didn't need to hold a championship, though. He could command attention through his charisma in the ring. And no, he didn't do a lot of shit in the ring, but he did it well. And he could, his promos actually weren't that bad. I actually heard a few promos from him where, yeah, he maybe didn't do a ton of talking, but when he spoke, it actually meant something. But him as champion, it was only a few weeks. It must have popped the crowd. The fans must have liked it. And, because Bobo was Bobo and he was really popular. But, yeah, 3 weeks. I'm sorry. I mean, I hate to rank Bobo this low on anything, but it was 3 weeks. We get to number 80. Randy Orton, 28 days. Randy Orton was U.S. champion in 2018. He beat Bobby Roode, who was also U.S. champion in 2018. I love Bobby Roode, but I don't know if I necessarily would have made him U.S. champion. And they're around the same age, too. Actually, I think Roode might be older, or at least close. But Orton, he beat Roode at Fastlane, if I recall correctly, and then he was the one that dropped. He was defending in that 4-way at Mania, and then dropped it to Jinder, even though I think Rusev was the one that got. Yep. Not good. It just wasn't. I mean, Randy's U.S. title reign and then the WWE title reign the year before, not all that good. We then get to number 79, Seth Rollins, 29 days. He beat John Cena in not a unification, but to win the U.S. Championship and to hold the WWE World Heavyweight Championship of the motherfucking world in the universe. Wait, the Universal title comes up about a year later. Yeah, he then dropped it back to Cena at Night of Champions. I mean, I'm sorry. It was great to see Seth with 2 belts. Sethy 2 belts, if you really want to call. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry for that. But no, just nothing really good about nothing really good. Just sorry. I mean, I hate to sound like, I'm just like shitting on everything. A lot of this isn't even the talents. I mean, because Seth is great. I got a shirt. Hot Topic, I believe. But Seth is great, but just he was champion less than a month. That's not going to help the value of a championship at all. We then get to number 78. Terry Funk, 20 days. Terry Funk, former NWA champion, and legit tough guy, and I don't know why the fuck he's still wrestling, or how the fuck he's still wrestling, or how the fuck he's still alive with all the shit he did to his body. I'm glad he's still alive. I'm just saying, I don't understand how the fuck Terry Funk is still, moving with all the shit that he did to his body. I mean, he loves wrestling. Him as U.S. champion, legit as it was, he was U.S. champion for 20 days. I mean, whether it takes place in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, it doesn't matter. That's not good enough for anybody. Hot potatoing a title existed way, way back in the day and still does to this day. But short title reigns rarely, if ever, work out. Then we get to number 77, Rhino. 27 days. Yeah, Rhino was U.S. champion. I got nothing against Rhino. It's just he was a hardcore championship guy, a tag team guy, but was never a U.S. title guy. My personal opinion. I just never cared for Rhino. I just never cared. I never cared for Rhino as a singles champion outside of being in the hardcore division. He was a good worker, and I'm sure still is, and he's a hell of a powerhouse. I just never cared for him as like a secondary champion like the U.S. title. It just never worked. To me. Nothing against the guy. We then get to Mr. Wrestling at 22 days. Yeah, Mr. Wrestling, who held the championship not very long. Mr. Wrestling, who, famous, like, in the territory days and everything, the masked wrestler, he's one of many masked wrestlers. But he was pretty goddamn over in various territories that he was in. 22 days, okay, whatever. Number 75, JBL, 54 days. Yeah, if I recall correctly, he was U.S. champion in 2006. He beat Chris Benoit at Mania 22. Maybe that's what set Benoit off the deep. No, it's not. But then he lost to Lashley at Judgment Day 2006. And then JBL was gone, gone out of the ring pretty soon after because he was injured. Probably because, you know, he was a piece of shit and karma caught up to him. But the whole point is, he was only champion. He was champion less than 2 months. And he beat Benoit. I mean, I'm sorry. It was what it was. But just, no. JBL being champion, no. Number 74, Rick Steiner, 42 days. Yeah, Rick Steiner was U.S. champion. Yeah. And I'm not talking TV champion, because I'm actually going to do one on the TV championship sometime later. I don't know, later this week, or, you know, I'll probably record it later this week. But the whole point is it's not like when Rick Steiner was TV champion, U.S. champion. And it just didn't, at that point, it wasn't that he wasn't motivated, but he was much more beat up at this point when he was U.S. champion. It was just throwing titles on name people, and it wasn't fucking working. It just really wasn't. We then get to number 73, One Man Gang, 33 days. Yeah, One Man Gang was champion in 1995. I think. It was 95, early 96. And I love One Man Gang. As far as like a big monster heel, he was great in World Class Championship Wrestling. He was great in WWE. He then was Akeem, the African Dream. He was the one-man gang. Akeem, the African Dream. God damn it. But then he was in WCW for a while. It's legit monster. I mean, but just him being champion by that point, no. It didn't work for me. As legit as the guy was, you need to get away from people like him being champion. And no, that's not, you know, me being ridiculous or me being ageist. It's just you need to get it on the new people. And sorry, him being champion for a month didn't do anything for the title. Number 72, Jack Swagger, 50 days. And then he dropped it to Rusev, I recall correctly. In fact, I think Santino's U.S. title reign might actually come. I don't think it came at the expense of Swagger. It came at the expense of somebody else. Now that I think about it. But everything's so muddy right there that it wouldn't matter who Santino won it from. Back to Swagger. Say he was champion for 50 days, and then he dropped it to Rusev. Which actually worked pretty well. Well, actually, he dropped it. Swagger was champion. Then Sheamus was champion. Sheamus dropped it to Rusev. That's right. I'm sorry for doing this stuff kind of on the fly, but if you can tell, this is how little the U.S. title meant to me in these, early, in these, like, later title reigns and everything. But, yeah, Swagger being champion 50 days. If I'm right, actually, now that I think about it, he beat Zack Ryder because they killed off Zack Ryder being U.S. champion immediately. And then Swagger and then all that. Yay. So then we get to Kensuke Sasaki, 44 days. He's a fine talent, and he held it for about a month and a half. Number 70, Bobby Lashley, 49 days. He beat JBL and then lost it. He lost it because I think it got taken off of him because he had elevated liver enzymes or something. And then Finlay and Regal, I believe, had to battle at a pay-per-view for the U.S. title. Which, whatever. Yeah, Lashley wasn't champion very long. I think that was actually as long as his 2 Intercontinental Championship reigns combined. How sad is that? Number 69. Haha, nice. It's Mr. Kennedy, at 42 days. Pretty much encompasses his career in WWE. He'd win some, he'd lose some. The whole thing with being Vince McMahon's illegitimate son went up in smoke, and then he puttered around for a while. He was U.S. champion before that, don't get me wrong, but it was so short. Again, all these short title reigns meaning nothing. I mean, good God, when I've got all these facts going on in my head and all these figures, and I screw some of them up, that just shows how little I cared about the championship at this time, and how little WWE cared. And then we get to number 68, Zack Ryder, 29 days. Yeah, he was champion, won at TLC, was beat up by Kane, made to look like a fool, lost it to Jack Swagger, and they pushed him down the card ever since. I can't imagine why people would not want to have faith in WWE pushing talents when they did that to Zack Ryder. Twice, by the way, because he got over again, won the championship at WrestleMania 32, well, the Intercontinental title, and then lost it the next day. And people wonder why fans tend to look down on WWE, as not always pushing people when they should. They can't push everybody all the time, but good God. Then we get to number 67, Robert Roode, 54 days. Yeah, he beat Corbin, I think. Yeah, Corbin was U.S. champion. How sad is that? He was champion, and Robert Roode also was. And then Robert Roode lost it, and I didn't care. I didn't care when he won it, and I didn't care when he lost it. I like Rude. I think Rude's great. I didn't think of a shit when he was champion. Number 66, Kanyon. Who better than Kanyon? If I'm right, Booker T was both the U.S. and WCW champion, and this title was gifted to Kanyon. Kanyon got an injury sometime after this, though, and the U.S. title had to be either placed on somebody else or put up like in a match where like somebody won it. Again, invasion angle, a little messy, but Kanyon was champion for a month and a half. Shame what happened to Kanyon. Terrible he felt that was the only way to go out. And if you know anything about how Kanyon passed away, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not knocking. Just saying, it's just terrible. Number 65, Alberto Del Rio, 90 days, 2 reigns. Yep, as this is when he was feuding with Kalisto. Before Kalisto decided to do a Galucha thing. That's all I gotta say about Alberto Del Rio. He held it for, for 3 months, with a combined 2 reigns. Good job. So, 64, Stan Hansen, 50 days. He beat Lex Luger at Halloween Havoc 90 and then lost it back at Starrcade 1990. That about summarizes Stan Hansen in in U.S. wrestling in at that time period. Because he was making so much goddamn money in Japan, even at that age. Even with all the miles on his goddamn body, he was making tons of money in Japan. Why the fuck would he want to be a U.S. wrestler? Well, a wrestler in the U.S. when he could make so much more money in Japan. I mean, he beat Luger and dropped it right back. Luger has a great record of getting the U.S. title back right after, losing it all of a sudden to guys that probably shouldn't have beaten him. And I love Stan Hansen. Stan Hansen's way, way, way more legit than Michael Hayes, but it just made no sense. Number 63, Carlito, 42 days. I love Carlito. I think this is also when he got injured, and then they had Jesus do a stabbing thing. They had a cologne involved in a stabbing thing. Gee, and there's nothing against Carlito, but let me go on a little fucking soapbox here, by the way. The fact that Carlos Colon, that dumb fucker that really should not be in the WWE Hall of Fame, decided, there is no way that him and Jose Gonzalez were not in on the goddamn thing. And if you've seen the Dark Side of the Ring thing on Bruiser Brody, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. Both guys should be jailed. Carlos Colon saying he didn't have any goddamn idea, bull fucking shit. Police are paid off all this goddamn shit. The wrestlers took paid offs. Some didn't. Tony Atlas, Dutch Mantel didn't. I lost a lot of respect for Abdullah the Butcher with some of the shit that he said. Even though I'm sure Brody meant quite a bit to him. There was some stuff that he said toward the end of that I didn't care, but yeah. They involved a cologne in a stabbing thing. Now, I'm not faulting Carlito here. That's not his fault. But that was in pretty fucking poor taste. That might be something I talk about in the Wrestling's Most Tasteless at some point. In fact, I might revive that series again. But, yeah, Carlito was champion for a little bit, but then he suffered some kind of shoulder or collarbone injury and couldn't defend the title. So this guy, Jesus, defended the title against Cena, but then Cena won it, and it was bad. It was really bad. The Jesus character did not last very long. I think he was gone within a couple months. And then we get to Sid Vicious at number 62. Yeah, speaking of stabbings. Sid was U.S. champion, I believe, in 99 for a little bit. Right. I love Sid, despite his insanity. And the scissors thing with Arn shouldn't have happened. I really need to be careful how I word that, because it makes it sound like, some kind of porn parody. But, yeah, I didn't... That aside, even if you put that to the side, Sid is U.S. champion in 99. No. But then again, they were tossing the titles around to anybody at that point, and especially in 2000, so whatever. We then get to number 61, Finlay, at 49 days. Despite the fact that Finlay maybe probably should learn how to tweet a little bit better when he talks about what people do on their knees, and if you check out his Twitter feed, you'll know what the fuck I'm talking about. Even though he meant it seriously, God damn it, Finlay, phrasing. He was U.S. champion and then lost it after just over a month and a half. Motherfucker, there are so many goddamn short title reigns on this thing. I mean, I wrote all this stuff down pretty much totally, tired. So I can't believe that I actually managed to get through. I can't believe I managed to get through number 60 so quickly. Number 60, Kalisto, 2 reigns, a combined 122 days. He beat up Alberto Del Rio, lost it back, won it back again, I think at the Royal Rumble or something like that, and then held it for a number of months, and then faced Ryback on a few pre-shows. That's how you get somebody over. You have him face Ryback. Fortunately, Ryback, or the Ryback, as Daniel Bryan said, did not win the U.S. title. Thank fucking Christ. Number 59, R-Truth, 56 days, 2 reigns. The first reign was in 2010, if I recall correctly. Yeah, because it's like Bret Hart beat Miz's title reign. Bret Hart, wrestling, took the U.S. title from him. It was vacated. Truth won it. And then Miz won it right back from Truth. And then Truth won it in, earlier this year. Whatever. It went nowhere. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with Truth. I don't know if he's still injured or, they're, besides what they're doing with him and Lars Sullivan currently. Yeah, he was champion for 56 days over 2 reigns. Then we get to number 58, Baron Corbin, 70 days. I had to be reminded that Baron Corbin was U.S. champion. That was a video, I think, like sometime last year. I had no memory of Baron Corbin being U.S. champion, which right there proves just how important that title was at that point and how much I didn't give a shit. And I had to look back. It was in a match with AJ Styles and Ty Dillinger. Ty Dillinger was put in there to be super over. And actually, let's see. It was 2017, U.S. champion, then he dropped it to TLC. Corbin didn't. Corbin did, by the way, not Ty Dillinger. Ty Dillinger maybe being U.S. champion, but that wouldn't happen. He's now on the independents doing his own thing, and good for him. But then we get to number 67, Scott Hall, 66 days. Scott Hall and championships did not work out well in WCW. He threw the TV title in trash. I will get to that in another video. But, yeah, Scott Hall, U.S. champion. He was great as a tag champion, but he had a whole lot of demons and a whole lot of issues and a whole lot of shit that he was dealing with, and it's kind of sad. Good on him that he seems to have had that worked out. Number 56, Dick Slater, 129 days. Dick Slater's a pretty underappreciated worker, somebody that really, really did work well in territory days, even made it into the Monday Night War days, but I believe before a back injury knocked him out in 96. He was teaming with Mike Enos, if I remember right. And I don't remember the name of the team. I think it was Rough and Ready, which, given how they were dressed, was kind of inappropriate. Not that I know anything about inappropriate jokes. But Dick Slater, he was champion, years before for 129 days. And legit, especially for territory time, he fit. Then number 55, Shinsuke Nakamura, 2 reigns, 165 days. Shinsuke Nakamura was champion from about Extreme Rules till the SmackDown that aired on Christmas. And then won it back a month later, and then lost it 2 days later to R-Truth. And people wonder why Shinsuke Nakamura has checked out mentally of WWE, apparently, reportedly. Can you blame him? I wouldn't fucking blame him. I can't remember anything really good about his U.S. title reign, because they could have done something with it. They had the United States of Shinsuke Nakamerica, the United States of Nakamerica, which could have worked, and they did fucking nothing with it. Big shock. We then get to number 54, Jim Duggan, 100 days. Jim Duggan, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who I don't mind as a person, but he beat Steve Austin for the U.S. title when Steve Austin was injured and I guess needed to take some time off, and held it for 100 days. Jim fucking Duggan in 1994 is holding the WCW championship. He lost it to Vader. At least that's a good thing that Vader did. Vader always did a lot of good shit. But at least that's something good that he did before he left the company in 95. Because Jim Duggan being champion for 100 goddamn days was a motherfucking joke. I fucking hated that. Like, why? Why was he champion for 100 goddamn days? Did not need to fucking happen at all. We then get to Jeff Hardy. 90 days. Jeff Hardy's number 53, by the way. Jeff Hardy at 90 days as champion. Yeah, he beat Jinder Mahal, had a terrible match with Jinder Mahal, had the greatest Royal Rumble, did not have very good matches after that, and lost Shinsuke Nakamura via a low blow, and then the bell rang, and then Kinshasa 1, 2, 3. Jeff had been dealing with injuries, so it was a good way to get the title off of him. But yeah, 90 days, and those are the 2 most memorable things that he did. Well, that and all the botches that happened with both of them at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Both of them. That was a bad match. 53, Chris Jericho. 86 days, 2 reigns. Yeah. 86 reigns, 2 days. And this is when he was feuding with Kevin Owens. And it was what it was. They had a good feud. And of course, Jericho, before the feud ended up happening, said, I'm hanging up here like a sexy piñata. With the shark cage thing. That was always pretty funny. I did an unpopular wrestling opinion on Chris Jericho, by the way. For clarity, before you guys watch it, I am a major Chris Jericho fan. But I recognize that there are certain things I need to criticize as a fan. But anyway, Chris Jericho, yeah, he was U.S. champion for a bit. Whatever is fine. Him and Kevin Owens had a good feud. Should have been over the Universal title. But I digress. Number 51, Matt Hardy, 84 days. Matt Hardy is a damn good wrestler. He's not remembered as well as his brother. I mean, they're both still wrestling. But Matt has been able to create his own, gimmick, the Woken thing, the Broken thing, whatever, and get more over than Jeff in the past few years. Totality of the careers, no doubt, Jeff has had the flashier one. But Matt as U.S. champion, it was great, except not particularly like something where you're going to say you have to go back and look at when he defended the title and be like, oh yeah, because a lot of people would fucking forget about it. It's not that Matt was bad. It's just the title was kind of just put in this gluttonous, glob of nothing. Then we get to Jimmy Snuka, 231 days at number 50. Yeah, Jimmy Snuka. This is pre-murdering Jimmy Snuka, by the way, because he was a fucking murderer, fucking murdered his girlfriend. Hopefully he's burning in hell for it. He was champion for a number of months, almost 8. At that time, Jimmy Snuka was pretty goddamn over. Whatever territory he's in, Jim Crockett Promotions. Later when he would go into WWE, obviously WWE did not have the United States Championship, but yeah, for a while he was pretty goddamn over. And 231 days at that point, nothing to sneeze at, but still, it's Jimmy Snuka. I'm ranking him this low for reasons. I got a few more, and then I'm going to stop this video here. Number 49, Orlando Jordan, 171 days. Yeah, Orlando Jordan beat John Cena and then went on the most unremarkable U.S. title run I've probably ever seen. He had a more unremarkable run in TNA when it was called TNA, but yeah, he faced Heidenreich at a pay-per-view. That was a great idea. Then he lost to Chris Benoit in about 30 seconds, 23 seconds, something like that, and then Orlando just kept losing. That's how you build up a talent. You have him lose. Orlando Jordan was never great, but he was never terrible. I think they could have done more with him, but 171 days, and I mean, a pretty unremarkable fucking reign. He wasn't even on the WrestleMania 21 card. I mean, I think he might have been in the Battle Royal that they might have had for a pre-show. He wasn't even on the goddamn card. It was barely featured at all on pay-per-views, at least in anything good. I mean, a match with Heidenreich. That'll put some fucking butts in the seats. Number 48, Big Show, 147 days. He beats Eddie Guerrero at No Mercy 03 and then loses it to John Cena at WrestleMania 20. That's about it. That's really about it. Well, then he also got choked up by Chris Benoit, hung up, and then, tossed over the ropes. You thought I was going to go somewhere else with that, but I would never say any such thing and say stuff about Chris Benoit like that. Mind you, Big Show, yeah, that's what it was. I mean, come on. It just wasn't fucking much of anything. And then we get to Kevin Owens, 98 days, 3 reigns. Yeah, I would have ranked him a lot higher here had he only maybe had 1 reign or maybe 2. But the fact that it was between him and Jericho and then him and Styles just tossing the title back and forth, it was not a good idea. It wasn't. It just wasn't a good idea. It devalued the title. And it did. And I know people saying, oh, well, you complain about that. But it's like if you don't make a championship mean something by having it on somebody for a few months and making it matter while they have it, then what the fuck's the point? Just over 30 days, average per reign. That's just not good. That's just fucking stupid. Then we get to number 40. We get to number 46. Johnny Valentine, 93 days. Unfortunately, I believe he had to relinquish the title due to a plane crash that effectively ended his career. Paralyzed him. This was a famous plane crash that Ric Flair was involved in. It's very, very terrible that did happen. I mean, he was only champion for 3 months. Who the fuck knows how long he would have had? He might, had that plane not crash. He might have lost it the next day. Who the fuck knows? It's just a shame that it had to end like that. So, yeah, but Johnny Valentine, good worker. You could argue his son was a bit of a better worker because there isn't as much footage of Johnny Valentine out there as there should be because a lot of companies did not tape that stuff. Maybe some more stuff will pop up on the network and we'll be able to see more of him. Number 45, Dean Malenko, 85 days. Where there's a cruiserweight title, U.S. title, Dean and Eddie would always fight over some really just would always like go all out and everything and fight over titles. Dean could make any title legit. I'm not saying he would have been WCW or WWE champion, or he should have been, even though I would have made him champion because he was legit. He would have only been like a transitional champion, but he always make any title legit. Tag, cruiser, TV, US title. Dean was goddamn good, really goddamn good, and even at just under 90 days, he helped establish some legitimacy because he was just that smooth in the ring. And then number 44, AJ Styles, 86 days, 2 reigns. Yeah, going back to the whole Owen Styles thing, yep, just didn't work. And Styles is a good worker who could make a title matter, and it just didn't ultimately work. Even though he's ranked higher than others, it just wasn't a great reign. Either of them. Goldberg, 92 days, 2 reigns, because he had the first reign where he beat Raven and then beat Hogan for the world title like about 2.5 months later, relinquished the U.S. title, but then won the U.S. title a little bit later. I think he had to relinquish the U.S. title because then he won the U.S. title from Sid at Halloween Havoc 99, and that went nowhere. Yeah, they didn't really do all that much good with the U.S. title. They really fucking didn't. Vader, 88 days. That's number 42. Vader is a great talent. Beat Jim Duggan at Starrcade 94 and then only held it for just about 3 months before it was relinquished. I forget the reason why, but he was a legit champion, really good in the ring, really solid. And you know, it's a shame that he didn't get to hold it longer. I would like to see him go on a lengthy run with it, but at least he got the title off of Jim Duggan. We then get to number 41, Curt Hennig, 104 days. Curt Hennig, as legit as they come, a great athlete, Mr. Perfect. So fantastic in the motherfucking ring. A shame that he wasn't able to be the Curt Hennig of old, just kind of an older Curt Hennig because of back injuries and all that. But Curt Hennig is somebody they gave the title to. He did the best he could with it, even if it wasn't all that great. In the end, still, putting the U.S. title on him did make things matter a whole lot. So that's where I'm going to leave this off. So I ran through all those. I think I can get through the other 40 in the next part. So stay tuned for that. Agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I will see you soon.